Hello everyone and welcome to ABC Interactive English. I'm Mike.
I'm Rainbow.
And today it is the beginning of a 2-day article about a place you probably will never ever go to in your whole life. But don't worry, we're going to tell you about it.
I go there sometimes.
You go to the post office at the end of the world?
Okay, maybe not that end of the world, but I have been to a very, very remote post office.
Oh, okay, so a post office that is really, really far away from anything else. Where was this post office?
Like a small town somewhere in central Taiwan.
Wow.
And it was the only one for miles and miles.
Really?
And it only opened for maybe like 4 hours a day.
Oh, wow, okay.
And we had to like walk a very long way, and it was so old, but it was really cool because it felt like a tourist destination.
Yeah, were there people actually working there when you went?
Yeah, this one old lady.
This sounds like a Japanese manga or something, and she lives with some magical cats.
Exactly.
Or something. Well, this post office is much further away than central Taiwan, and you might find a little old lady working there and her happy cats. I don't know about that, but you will also definitely find penguins. Not working there, taking your letters and giving out packages, but this is the part of the world where penguins live, and I guess penguins need to send packages and letters?
Maybe.
Once in a while, penguin birthdays, penguin Christmas.
Maybe instead of mailmen, the penguins send the mail.
Male penguins.
Yeah.
Interesting. We're going to find out all about the post office at the end of the world. So grab an envelope and a stamp and get ready to meet some penguins.
There's a very little island off the coast of the Antarctic Peninsula. It's home to a group of Gentoo penguins. Thousands of them gather there to find mates, build nests, and raise their families.
All right, so yes, the post office at the end of the world is the title of our article. We begin today. Let's talk about the word post office. We're going to be using it a lot and reading it a lot in the article. What is a post office? It's one of those things you will find in most neighborhoods of a city or a town or maybe even a little village, because post offices are places you can send letters, get packages, send packages, get letters. In Taiwan, you can use a post office as a bank too.
Yeah, that's
you can
really
take out your
nice.
money, pay your bills, but mainly most places in the world, post offices are about mail that usually come in the form of paper letters in envelopes or boxes, packages, gifts. Things that people are buying will be sent to the post office, and that is the location in most neighborhoods where you will go and get your packages and letters and send your packages and letters. So that's a post office, and this one is far away. It's at the end of the world. Well, where exactly is that? It could be anywhere that's far away from any other place, but this end of the world is in the Antarctic. It says there's a very little island off the coast of the Antarctic Peninsula. It's home to a group of Gentoo penguins.
Aww.
So if you're looking for this, look to the bottom of your map or the bottom of your globe, the South Pole, that large icy bit of land down there right at the bottom of our planet is Antarctica, and you can see there's kind of a tail that sticks out of it on one side, I think kind of more towards South America, and that would be the Antarctic Peninsula. And you don't find many people living there, or any people really living there, but you do find a lot of penguins.
Yes, penguins are very, very cute mammals. Yes, they walk like this. They have a white belly and they have black arms like they're wearing a suit. That's what it looks like. And all day long they waddle around, and there's a lot of them in Antarctica. They live in very cold places. Sometimes, now I have seen in Australia, there are penguins who can walk around in the sun, but mostly they live in super, super cold places like Antarctica, and you'll see them where there's a lot of ice. Okay, so back to the article. Let's find out what these Gentoo penguins do in Antarctica. The article says, thousands of them, the penguins, gather there to find mates, build nests, and raise their families. So they are finding their buddy, they're going to make babies, and they're going to make a home called a nest, and they go there to meet, to gather.
That's right. When you gather, that means you get together in a group with a lot of other similar things. You can gather everything you need before you go to school, get all of your books and pens and pencils and all that stuff, and collect it or gather it together. Or you might gather with your friends on the weekend for a party, for a celebration, for some kind of special activity. You go from all the different places you live and you collect or you gather together in one spot. So a place where animals gather, like these penguins, might be called a colony, and it's a good place to go and meet your mate.
Oh, now what does that mean, your mate? This is a noun. Now, a mate can mean several things. One could be a friend, a buddy. So, for example, some people in Australia, they call people mates. They say, good day, mate. That's like, they're just like, hi, hey man, what's up, dude? Like a friend. Now, in the case of penguins, a mate is one female and one male getting together to make babies. So they're looking for their mate, which means their match. And after they find the match, they will build a nest to raise their babies.
That's right. Mate, of course, is a term we usually use in science. So don't introduce your husband or wife at a party as, oh, this is my mate, Deborah.
Mate.
That's a little weird. It would be your husband, your wife, your partner, boyfriend, girlfriend. But with animals, we don't use things like husband or wife. We use the word mate. And yes, once these animals have babies or lay eggs, they will want to keep them somewhere safe, like a nest. A nest is sort of like a home, but it's more of a small protected area where birds especially, but other especially smaller animals will build a safe place where they can lay eggs, they can have the eggs hatch, have the little babies break out of the eggs, and then they can keep them safe together, warm in one place where the mother and father animals can take care of the little babies in a nest made of trees, leaves, sticks, rocks. Fish make nests out of rocks. Certain types of animals will make small nests in the sand, in the desert, for example. But all of these are collected areas where they can lay eggs and keep their little babies all safe while they grow. Let's take a break, and then we'll be back with more of the Gentoo penguins in a post office. I don't know why.
The island is also home to Port Lockroy. It was once an old British base. Now it's a historic site with a museum, gift shop, and post office. Port Lockroy is also called the Penguin Post Office. It's Antarctica's most popular place for cruise ship visitors. It gets around 16,000 of them every year.
All right, we are back in Antarctica, the South Pole. We have a post office, and we have a group of penguins that live around it. Now, during the break, Rainbow, I went to the science library.
Ooh.
I did a lot of research on penguins, and I discovered they can't write letters.
No, I don't think they can read either.
They can't hold pens. They're very cute. They swim very fast, but they cannot write packages, letters. They can't write addresses on envelopes. I don't even know if a penguin could lick a stamp and put it on a package or envelope. So why do they have a post office? This makes no sense.
Good question. Well, the article talks about some historical facts. It says the island is also home to Port Lockroy. It was once an old British base.
People live there.
A long time ago they did.
People can write envelopes and send packages.
That's right.
They can, yes, okay.
So it was a British base. Now, base can mean several things. A base can be the bottom of something, like the bottom of maybe a vase that it's sitting on. It's going to be a flat bottom. In this case, a British base, it is a place where British people belonged when there was a war. So this is when there was a war and these British people had their home there. They lived there, they were around there, they gathered there, and that was their base. What else do we know about this historical place?
Well, it's probably been there for a long time, and even though it is far away from many places in the world, or far away from most places in the world, people still do visit. It says now it's not a military base. There are not British soldiers or sailors based there anymore. So now it's a historic site with a museum, gift shop, and post office.
That's cool.
So I guess if you're on a ship that's traveling around the South Pole, you might stop there because it's an important place that has been there for a very long time, and it has kind of a long, interesting story, which is a good reason to call it a historic place. Historic means something that's old, it's from history, and it probably had an important story or was part of important events that happened in the past. So we can talk about historic buildings, historic paintings, historic weapons that might have been used in a famous battle a long time ago. If you visit a museum, it's a good bet that most of the things you see in that museum are important and they are from the past. In other words, they are historic. Now, things can be historic, buildings can be historic, but also just places in the world can be historic because something important happened there on that site.
Oh, exactly. And the word site is a location for a specific purpose. So for example, if there was a war there, it could be a historic site.
A battle site.
Oh, a battle site.
Yeah.
And that was exactly the place where they had that battle. And many people would visit it, especially to see that exact place, to take pictures, to understand the history. And that site is very special, even to people years later. Okay, back to the article. Port Lockroy is also called the Penguin Post Office. It's Antarctica's most popular place for cruise ship visitors. It gets around 16,000 of them every year. That's a lot of visitors, and you're right. They would go on a cruise, they get off this huge boat, and they visit that historical site, and they can feel what it's like back then and take some pictures, and it's very popular.
Absolutely. I bet one of the most popular things is to go to the post office and send a postcard home from
Antarctica.
Port Lockroy. one of the most remote post offices in the world and get a picture of you with your new penguin friends.
With penguins.
We'll be finding out much more about this whole place and the penguins that live there in tomorrow's article. So please do come back and join us for that. Until then, be well, and we'll see you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
There's a very little island off the coast of the Antarctic Peninsula. It's home to a group of Gentoo penguins. Thousands of them gather there to find mates, build nests, and raise their families. The island is also home to Port Lockroy. It was once an old British base. Now it's a historic site with a museum, gift shop, and post office. Port Lockroy is also called the Penguin Post Office. It's Antarctica's most popular place for cruise ship visitors. It gets around 16,000 of them every year.
Hi, I'm Tina. 我们来看这一课的重点单字。第一个 ，post office，post office 邮局。I'm going to the post office to mail a letter. 我要去邮局寄一封信。下一个单字 gather，gather 动词聚集收集。我们先来看看聚集这个意思的例句。The students gathered in the cafeteria for lunch. 学生们聚集在餐厅吃午餐。我们再来看看收集这个意思的例句。Gina went to the library to gather information for her report. Gina 去图书馆搜集有关她报告的资料。下一个单字 nest 名词，鸟或昆虫等的巢窝。There are many bird nests in the tree. 这棵树上有很多鸟巢。最后一个单字 base 名词，军事基地。The army set up a base in the desert. 军队在沙漠中建立了一个基地。接着我们来看重点文法。第一个 off the coast of place 某地的外海。off 是介系词，离什么不远的意思。Coast 是海岸的意思。我们来看看这个例句。The island is off the coast of Japan. 这个岛屿位于日本的外海。下一个文法 thousands of 加名词，数以千计的，极其多的。Thousands 指的是无数、大量，惯用复数。我们来看看这个例句。Thousands of people attended the music festival. 成千上万的人参加了音乐节。最后一个文法 raise a family 养育下一代。raise 意思是喂养、抚育。family 在这里指的是子女。我们来看看这个例句。They moved to the countryside to raise a family. 他们搬到乡村来养育下一代。以上就是这一课的重点单字跟文法，我们下一课再见，拜拜。
Hey, it's KiWi on the street. I'm Kiki. And I'm Winnie. We know there are a lot of English phrases that we can use in our daily lives.
Now let's go ask some friends.
好，我们今天第一个题目是重要人物或者是大佬。Which one is it? 重要人物大佬。
我猜是 Top Gun。Top Gun。
我觉得是 Top Gun.
Top Gun? Are you sure?
Sure.
Top Dog. Top Dog.
Top Dog? Are you sure it's not Top Gun?
I think it's Dog.
You think it's dog? Okay, let's see if you are the top dog. Yes, you are the top dog for our game today. Okay. 席上眉梢，非常开心。
Over the moon.
Over the moon. Oh, he was very confident.
Over the moon.
Oh, both very confident. Okay, over the moon.
Over the sky.
席上眉梢。
Over the sky.
Over the moon.
Over the moon. Let me think about it.
Okay, think about it.
I think it's the sky.
You think it's the sky? Are you correct? Let's take a look. Sorry. It is over the moon, okay? So you go over the moon. 那我们今天学到了什么呢? Let's learn more about the phrases we heard today. Our first one is top dog. a lot of people will think of the meanest looking dog in a group of dogs. Well, one origin of the phrase comes from two people, and they are using a two-handled saw when they are sawing from timber. The more experienced person would stand on top of the timber, and the other person at the bottom of the saw pit. And where the timber lays, the iron stand, they were called dogs. So the positions of top dog and underdog actually came from the saw pit. And it basically means a person or a group that are in a position of power, especially after a period of competition or struggle to come out as the winner or the leader. Our next phrase is over the moon. This means to be extremely pleased or to be happy. You're so happy that you could literally go over the moon. Of course, we know that's impossible, right? But an example would be Judy was over the moon when Tim proposed to her. She was so happy that she could go over the moon. And these are our two phrases of the day. KiWi later!